kindle this chalice as a symbol of our community of faith, for the light of truth, the warmth of love, and the fire of commitment.
Good morning. I'm LB, your Director of Music and Worship Arts. I use pronouns he, him, and his, and I'm delighted to see many of you here and spread out and enjoying the space. We love this space that we're in. In fact, we love it so much that when we moved in 8 years ago, we commissioned this piece. Now, it's a combination of an old revival hymn, "Were You Washed in the Blood of the Lamb?" and new lyrics written by Tony Larson, Reverend Tony Larson, a UU musician, minister. He wrote them in the early 80s. When I talked to the composer, Elizabeth Alexander, about the possibility of commissioning this piece for both a big anthem and for congregational singing, she said, well, I've got just the piece in mind for you. But it doesn't scan perfectly well. The poetry needs a little tweaking. So she worked on the poetry, and she worked on the arrangement, and gave us this piece that really reflects the spirit of this church. So it's a little bit old, it's a little bit new. It's very much in keeping with our concept of being part way on this long journey that we started 175 years ago. Please join together, standing, sitting, dancing, however you choose to participate. And love is the spirit of this church.
Good morning. My name is Tom Nicholas. I use the pronouns he and him. It is my privilege to serve our congregation on the Board of Trustees as your president. I am here today to welcome all of you. To those joining on YouTube and to those of you who are here in the sanctuary, welcome to this historic celebration of our 175th anniversary. While I have not been involved in the effort to bring this celebration into being, I know the work has been vast. The planning team started in the spring of 2022. Since then, many of you have been involved in one way or another, and to all of you, I say thank you. I would like to recognize the team that started it all 2 years ago. Ed Bush, Marcus Cheatham, Dan Detweiler, Deb Feltz, Mike Millott, Deb Mosier, and Carl Pannanen. Thank you. I will leave you with this. Everything that has ever happened has brought us together here in this moment. Together, let's celebrate 175 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. And my name is Reverend Neal Anderson. Use the pronouns he, him, his. And I am blessed and honored to serve this congregation at this moment as senior minister. What a blessing it is to be together on this morning as we have gathered for many Sunday mornings over the past 175 years. How many? Maybe like 9,000-ish Sunday mornings over the years, and here we are again. Happy anniversary to you all. After our worship this morning, you may have noticed the gorgeous atrium and social hall decked out and ready for you to join together in celebration. I'll remind you at the end of worship, but for now, I just want to, when worship is over and after the benediction, we're going to have a wonderful postlude, an extended postlude. But I am inviting all of you who need a little extra time to leave the sanctuary. If you have mobility assistance, you move a little slower, you have a whole family with you that needs to get situated at tables, you leave first, and then we'll all wait and then leave after those of you have left first. Also want to let you know that today's worship may not end at 11:30. So if you're looking at your watch and you're going, oh my goodness, it's 11:30 and we're not done yet. Well, there's a lot to get into a 175-year celebration. So the first thing let's do, as we do every morning, let us take a moment to greet everyone who's joined us on the live stream. It's good to have you with us this morning. This morning, rather than getting up and moving around and greeting, which you can do after worship in the social hall and atrium, let's just wave at each other and let's make sure everybody knows it's good to be together. As we begin our worship this morning, I wanted to read to you first a special tribute that comes to us from the state of Michigan. It reads as follows. Let it be known, I love that, let it be known that we would like to extend our sincerest gratitude and congratulations to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greater Lansing upon their 175th anniversary. Throughout the course of its history, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greater Lansing have remained deeply committed to promoting community and inspiring faith within the Lansing community and beyond. Founded in 1849, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greater Lansing has provided essential services to those in the Lansing area. As one of the oldest churches in the area, the church has served as a place to connect countless people to their faith, valuable resources, and opportunities to serve their community. In recent years, members' presence in the Lansing community has been impactful in multiple areas of community life. Strong partnerships have been forged over the years with the Southside Community Kitchen, Refugee Development Center, and community gardens. The members' enthusiasm, selflessness, faithfulness to Unitarian Universalist values, and inspirational demeanor brighten the city and continues to enhance countless lives. A leading example of compassion, the church also provides its local community with the resources they need to thrive. Their collaborative relationships with social justice initiatives such as Citizens for Prison Reform and a commitment to racial and economic justice have empowered marginalized groups throughout Michigan. They have continually stood as a model of excellence for their surrounding community and have surely left a lasting impact over the past 175 years. The church and its members have gone above and beyond through their service to others. It is incumbent upon all of us to work together to make our communities better and help each other in times of need, which is why we are thankful for churches like the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greater Lansing that go above and beyond to serve their communities. In special tribute, therefore, this document is signed and dedicated to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greater Lansing as a symbol of our gratitude for its 175 years of service to the state of Michigan. We would also like to recognize these past 175 years they have spent making their community and state a more caring and loving place for all. We wish all members of UU Lansing the best of luck in all future endeavors. Signed, Garland Gilchrist, Lieutenant Governor, and Gretchen Whitmer, Governor, February 25th, 2024. And now I'd like to invite Mayor of Lansing, Andy Shore, to come forth and bring us greetings from the city.
Well, far be it from me to try and one-up the governor. She would hear. Some of you would tell her. Congratulations. This is an exciting day. 175 years is a long time, as you all know. And I'm proud that you're here in our city. What I really love, I can't speak to the beginning and maybe the first 125 years, but I can speak to the service and the work that this church does in our community. I have been here. I was asked on the way in, have you been here before? Yes. I have not been to service, but I have been here for the Refugee Development Center. I've been here to have meals with those of need. I've been here to see the incredible work that you all do. And it's incredible. This church has the biggest heart. And the giving back to our community, in addition to the worship and the very positive service and the understanding, the acceptance, the welcoming, this church is a model for what we want to see here in Lansing and what we know Lansing is about. So I do want to thank you all for continuing the legacy of the UU Church here in Greater Lansing, but here in South Lansing. It's incredible. It's just wonderful. We do have a proclamation, which I don't have a copy of. This is the intricacies of city government when you email it and you don't have the physical copy. I've got the language, and a lot of it is the same. And I know you've got a long ceremony today, a long service today, and I don't want to be the one that keeps you from your lunch, because that's the worst politician. But I do want to read the most important and the fun part. So the whereases are very similar to what the governor said, talking about the Southside Kitchen, talking about RDC, talking about everything you do. But the fun part that I get to do is this. Now, therefore, I, Andy Shore, Mayor of the City of Lansing, by the power vested in me, do hereby proclaim March 17, 2024 as Unitarian Universalist Church of Greater Lansing Day in Lansing. So today is your day. You walk around and tell everybody, today's my day. Don't forget, it's my day. I extend my sincerest congratulations to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greater Lansing and their congregation for their many years of religious and social service in our city. Thank you, everybody.
All right. So appreciate it. Yeah, I understand. Well, take that, St. Patrick. We have our own day now. Over the past months, another small group of UU Lansing congregants have been engaged in a wonderful project of collecting our stories. Inspired by the work of the Story Corps, a frequently featured part of NPR, the group began to invite congregants and former congregants to share their memories of UU Lansing. They asked the same 10 questions to all of the interviewees, and they had 7 interviewers who conducted those interviews. 52 people were interviewed, which resulted in at least 10 hours of recordings. Ed Bush has edited those 10 hours into 8 minutes for us here. But you may also wish to take a look at an hour's worth of the video, which will be presented by the timeline. So if you go to see the timeline, you can also see the video. That's in the Faith Development Wing hallway. Wonderful. So here is our video.
Peace is the bread we break. Love is a river rolling. Life is a chance we take when we make this earth our home.
One. Another one that I feel like was really significant for me, and this really speaks to the importance of this church being a place for our kids to grow up in a community where they were being exposed to the values that we share. And I think Anna she was 10 or 12, and we were having dinner, and this was at the time when there was some big hullabaloo in Hawaii about gay marriage. I don't remember what the thing was exactly, but it was all, people were arguing against it, and it was all sort of in the press. And we happened to be talking about this at dinner, and Anna said, "What's the big deal? They're just people." And it's like, that just really struck me as the value of being around diverse people with diverse beliefs and so forth growing up. And so I guess I'd have to put that one down as my other really important.
Well, this church has, it's been very involved in social or racial justice kinds of things. And I remember one time when Meta Peace Team did a program here, and we did, I think it was them, and we did this exercise about step forward if your race is more likely to do this and that, and you probably know that game or whatever you call it. Being involved in growing and things like that was good. And I can remember we also showed the restorative justice film, and a lot of discussion ensued around that. I found those kinds of things rewarding. And they had this once a month, I think it was once a month, program. And John and I talked about our marriage and did the Lovings documentary. So being involved in those kinds of things, and that being a constant kind of avenue to get into and discuss those kinds of things was really meaningful to me. So those are some of the things that I think that would...
Well, when I thought about this question, I was thinking about a time when all the past presidents got together, and that was a powerful experience for me in that I could see early on people that were in leadership positions and the impact the church has had on them over the years. And I was kind of midway in leadership, and what has gone on with the church and how people were still so connected. And even through times of turmoil, the fellowship, the connections were real, and it was so important.
It goes together. I love the music. I think we have wonderful music, and it is so good to have it back after COVID.
Yes.
It is so wonderful to have it back. Music is a very important part to me.
Catherine Burt was a student in my NIA class, and she loved it so much that she asked me to, for the first time, to dance in church. And like, it was kind of scary. I picked my music and everything, and I figured, well, maybe a couple of kids would come up and dance. And like, so I got up there, I started dancing, and like, everybody got up, and they're moving in the aisles and everything. I was so amazed. That, you know, again, that was the first time. I think that's the most vivid, positive memory that I have, that connection.
We used to do a variety of different things for the Pledge Drive show, and I remember especially the one year that Julie was part of that, and she was probably only about 12 maybe, but she had a solo singing part, and she was ecstatic about that. And you know, I didn't want to tell her that we're not very picky about the talent. I had a singing part too, and I don't sing. But anyway, those were fun, and that one was particularly fun. And just the camaraderie of bringing everybody together.
Well, I think I really like how welcoming the church is, especially to the grandchildren, when I brought my grandchildren to different events.
And the fundraising or the pledge drive comedy shows were a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun. My daughter was a ketchup bottle in one of them, and so that was pretty memorable.
There's so many, but I do think carrying the chalice into the new building, when we got to that point, is really a fond memory, because there had been so many years of work to get to that place.
Christmas Eve was this ritual of, you know, sort of coming home and feeling centered and seeing some old faces.
But I think being a mentor for the coming of age program with the middle schoolers, and one young woman that I mentored, I'm trying to remember how long ago it was, but anyway, we've stayed in touch. And so she just completed her PhD not long ago, and right now she's in Madagascar because her specialty is amphibians. So she's studying those lizards. But being a part of that program, I thoroughly enjoyed. Loved the kids' energy and the other adults who were participating. It was great.
Yeah. You know, I've enjoyed our coffee hours and just getting to know people and talk to people, and that's not maybe a single memory, but the social aspect of the church is really important. And I think the thing that's been so important to me is, unlike other groups that one gets involved in that's for a specific purpose, a church is where you meet people, and if you stay with it through thick and thin, you know these people through a long span of their life, and their children, and you see their children grow up. And so it's a much longer, deeper connection than most organizational connections are, and that's really important to me.
So as director of music, I've been asked to pick pieces that reflect 175 years of history. And we've had at least 4 hymnals during that time, each of which has hundreds of songs in it. So I thought, well, that's easy. It's, you know, about 2 minutes each, 400 per each. Well, we could be done in a few hours. But as director of worship arts, it's my job to try and get this done quicker. So I've picked a couple of pieces from our past hymnals that reflect the past, but were updated in that. This one is from the 1937 hymnal called Hymns of the Spirit. It is not one that we sing currently. It dates far prior to 1937, but I did find it in the 37 hymnal. Anne Marie's going to play it through once, and then we'll all sing it together as best we can.
Happy anniversary to our congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greater Lansing on this auspicious day. My name's Susan Rothfuss, and my pronouns are she and her, and I am so honored to be your worship associate this morning. Today, we are looking back and looking forward. Here, we are a continuation of an idea, a seed that was planted in Lansing, Michigan, 175 years ago. And I don't know about you, but I've never been invited to a 175th anniversary party before. I'm in awe of a church that has been able to be in continual operation for 175 years. That's 9,100 Sundays, sermons, hymns. We know it has had its ups and downs, but the most amazing thing to me is that the Unitarians, and eventually the Universalists, could find a way to come together. It's not easy to bind a people of faith together in a local church for that period of time. This church was founded 99 years before I was born. I'm 76, don't try to do the math. I was born 3 days before 1948. Reverend Neal thought it would be fun to have one of our youngest members, and in his words, one of our oldest members, I prefer older, to say a few words about what the congregation means to us. So I called on one of our youngest members, Abby Skoronik. Abby is 10. Welcome. I'm going to leave this right here. So, what do you think about our church? Oh, wait, you need something here. Sorry, folks.
Hello, my name is Abby. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. When I think about church, I think about how fun and welcoming we are, and how good the snacks are. No matter your gender or race, you're welcome here. Always awesome. The teachers don't make teaching boring, they make it fun. We go outside, we do crafts, and we also learn about each other. I would like to say thank you to the people who provide the snacks. They always make me feel loved and welcome, so thank you. Thank you to all of you for making the church what it is. Every person is awesome, from the people here to the people on the live stream. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. When I invited Abby to do this, I asked her mother, and Abby agreed. And then yesterday, I received those words that she wrote. Not her mother, Abby wrote that. Good job. For me, the church feels like a family. I love this church, and therefore the congregation. Like a family, we don't always agree. We don't even always get along. But it feels like we truly care about one another. We enjoy being together, we have many shared values, and we work through the tough stuff and when we need to, and we don't give up. Two things I hold in my heart. The chalice lighting words, we kindle this flame with the light of truth, the warmth of love, and the fire of commitment. The second is our mission statement. As a religious community, inspired by awe and wonder, we nurture spiritual growth, connect in authentic, loving relationships, and engage in courageous work for peace and justice. In other words, for me, this is an oasis in an often tortured world. It offers me a breath of fresh air, an opportunity to share my love. And together, we do good. Every day that I work to practice these things is a better day for me and for those around me. Oh, Abby, I like the snacks too. Come, let us worship.
My name is Martha Bogner. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and it is a blessing to serve as ministerial intern in this religious community of UU Lansing. Struck that all three of us, Neal, Susan, and I, have just been in awe that we've been doing this as a community for over 9,000 Sundays. So when we gather for worship, we're continuing that long tradition, and yet as we inevitably change, both as individuals and as a community, the way that we worship changes with us. So it was just a few years ago. How many years ago, Neal, did we start doing Touchstones? Like a couple? Okay. Definitely not 175. But we adopted this ritual as a way of embodying the sharing of our lives and what is on our hearts, our joys, our sorrows, our hopes and dreams and wonderings. So as we enter this ritual, first I invite us to just notice our breath. And if any feelings arise, or if they came along ahead of time, perhaps notice those too. Then I invite each of us to come forward, to claim a stone that resonates with what is present in our hearts and in our bodies. Notice the people around you. Notice that we each bring ourselves, and none of us are alone. Then I invite us to let the water in the columns gently catch our touchstones, just as we are caught by something greater than ourselves in this religious community. I invite all of us now into this time of ritual. release these last stones for all of the touchstones which remain collectively in our hearts. I invite us now into a time of prayer. Spirit of love and life within us and connecting us, we made it. Somehow we made it, and we are grateful to be here together yet again as fellow travelers on life's mysterious journey. Remind us that we are never alone. Be with us as we witness the stories of the ancestral travelers who came before us, the stories we tell regularly, the ones we don't, the ones we've forgotten, or which we tried to erase. May their challenge and their wisdom remain with us, inspire us, teach us, guide us into the years to come. May we shape and share our own stories along the way, remembering that we too are becoming ancestors. Spirit of life, nurture us that we may nurture each other and this world we share. Connect us in solidarity with those who struggle for justice. Engage us in our lives that we might be a blessing to each other and to the generations to come. May it be so today and in the years ahead. Amen.
Our song response is going to be a little more traditional than we usually use. This tune was written in the 1500s by Thomas Tallis. The words were written in 1956, however. It appears in our first joint UU hymnal from 1964, Hymns for the Celebration of Life. This is the Tallis Canon. We'll play it through once and sing it through a couple of times. Together in a spirit of meditation and prayer. Ours be the poets of all times, all things of loveliness and worth, all hearts, all ages, and all songs, one life, one beauty.
When I'm invited to an anniversary party, I usually bring a card with a gift tucked inside. Usually the gift is money because it can help buy whatever the recipient or the honorees might need or enjoy. So this week, as I thought about what I might say to invite you into generosity, it occurred to me the number 175 was a great number to play with. By that I mean, I started to move the decimal point around. If I was going to give a gift as a child, $1.75 might be reasonable. As a teen or a young adult, maybe $17.50 would be a good gift. As my means would grow and I moved the decimal point around in my mind, I saw $175 or even $1,750. And then I went crazy with $17,500. Well, you can see I was getting a little crazy. But if you feel so moved to give the church a gift, an anniversary gift, I've just planted the seed. It's up to you to make your own decisions. If you would like to make a donation to the UU Lansing Church today, you may place the gift in the basket that the ushers will pass. And be sure to indicate if your gift is part of your pledge or intended for the Davies Project, which is this month's special plate collection, one very close to my heart. If you would like to give online, go to uulansing.org and touch Giving at the top of the page, and then follow the directions. And if you'd like to play with the decimal, please indicate anniversary on your gift.
Now, normally I wouldn't speak before the anthem. I would just sing it and make the minister make any connections that are necessary. But I think you need some context on this one. When we started talking about this 2 years ago, I was asked what I could do as director of music to make this service special. And I thought, well, let's commission another piece. So we wanted it to be really connected to us as much as possible. So I reached out to Stacy V. Gibbs, a colleague that I've worked with on a couple of projects. He's based in Detroit. I just read that he is the most commissioned composer currently working. So we were very lucky that he accepted this offer. He's known mostly for his spiritual arrangements and arrangements of traditional gospel pieces. But he got very excited when I asked him to compose a piece from scratch. And he asked if I had a text in mind. I said, knock yourself out. We talked a little about the congregation and what's important to us, what we're trying to do, a little of the history of the church and where we're looking at going forward. And he thought, well, I'll really write something that speaks to the idea of community. And for him, as a traditional Christian musician, that instantly brought up the idea of the Good Samaritan. So you're going to hear a retelling of that story, but it's very much just, here's a little bit of the story, and here's what you should do about it as good people. And remember I said I was supposed to make this exciting? There's a part for you. So about 3/4 of the way through the piece, I'm going to turn around and ask you to sing. The only words you have to sing are hope and blessings. They're up there. Can we get from bar 91, the soprano line? Hope and blessings. The choir does that part. Let's give it a try. Hope and blessings. Hope and blessings. So we're going to do that a lot, but you don't have to sing on all of it. I'll be over there conducting the musicians like I usually do. When it's time for you to sing, I will turn around and invite you to join in. When I do this, it means it's the last time that you'll be singing. So wrap up what you're doing, and I'll turn around and finish up with the musicians. Hope and Blessings, world premiere.
Say and do.
What a delightful day to be together. As I drove to church this morning, early in the morning, as I usually do, listening to the radio, Johnny Cash came on, and he was singing that he had been everywhere. I've been everywhere, Johnny Cash sings, and he starts with the story of Winnemucca. Well, I would have only known where Winnemucca is because I had served in Reno, Nevada, and Winnemucca was just down the road. Well, and Johnny starts his list of all the places that he's been with talking about Reno, and then goes on to name many, many places. And for some reason, every time I hear that song, Gravelburg sticks out in my mind. Maybe that's because Gravelburg is in Saskatchewan, and one wonders why Johnny Cash would be singing about Gravelburg, Saskatchewan. But it was quite a journey. And I couldn't remember all of the cities and towns that are mentioned in that song, just as I couldn't remember all of the points along the journey that this congregation has had over its 175 years. I took a little solace this morning in knowing that I couldn't remember all the names of the songs, and I couldn't remember all the points along the journey. But sometimes it feels like the congregation has been everywhere. When I first arrived, I went on a tour of Greater Lansing that Judy Olson led, looking at various points along our history geographically, and we did go, seemed like everywhere around Greater Lansing, stopping at various places along the way that are connected to our history, beginning at the Capitol, meeting in 1849 in that state Capitol building in the Senate chambers, to what used to be a gorgeous brick and mortar, stone and mortar building on the corner of Capitol and Ottawa, which is no longer there, and throughout the city, even with a stop at the Islamic Center in East Lansing. So all through our history, we seem to have been everywhere. And then I was thinking, how do I capture this moment, and realize that I don't, because it will become another point along that 175, then 176, and so on year history. Another moment that we have together this morning, and it too shall pass into our history. I've been recently reading with much delight a book called The Maniac by a Chilean author named Benjamin Labatut. In this book, this Chilean author is telling the story of Johnny von Neumann. At birth, his name was Janos, born in Hungary, Jewish physicist, mathematician, philosopher, who invented such things as game theory, the first programmable computer, was a pioneer in artificial intelligence, digital life, and cellular automata. Now, the Maniac, I first thought when I was reading the book, referred to von Neumann, but in fact, it refers to a computer that von Neumann was engaged in creating. The acronym for the computer was Mathematical Analyzer, Numerical Integrator, and Computer. Maniac. Von Neumann's invention would not only be utilized to demonstrate at the time a computer could defeat a human in chess. I'm told in the book that the human chess player wasn't very good at the game, but still the computer prevailed. But it also was utilized to do the enormous mathematical simulations necessary to confirm the design of the hydrogen bomb. Thermonuclear weapons would not have been possible without the first Maniac and subsequent computing machines being able to do the calculations. In the book, Labatut writes on behalf of the Hungarian physicist Eugene Wigner, who says that people now think, looking back at what we did, that we were all monsters and madmen, because how could we bring forth those demons into the world? How could we play around with such terrible forces that could very well wipe us from the face of the earth, or send us back to a time before reason, when the only fire we knew was sparked by the lightning that angry gods hurled down at us. But that hardly anyone speaks aloud is that what drew us in, what made us fashion those weapons, was not the desire for power or wealth or fame or glory, but the sheer thrill of the science that was involved. It was just too much to resist. The extremities of pressure and temperature created by a nuclear chain reaction, rarefied physics, colossal release of energy. It was unlike anything we had ever known. We were discovering something that not even God had created before us, because those conditions hadn't existed elsewhere in the universe. Fission is commonplace in the heart of stars or massive celestial engines, but we achieved it inside a little sphere of metal, just 1.5 meters in diameter, holding an event tinier core of just 6 kilograms of plutonium nestled within. It's still amazing to me that we could do something like that. Seems in reading that and some of the history that one of the reasons of looking at destructive forces such as the hydrogen bomb, they were created simply because they could be. And as I think about the past of both Universalism and Unitarianism, I think of our sense of the goodness of humanity, particularly for Unitarians. 19th century Unitarian and sometimes Universalist minister Thomas Starr King, Reverend Thomas Starr King, is credited with this phrase. He said, Universalists believe that God is too good to damn people, and the Unitarians believe that people are too good to be damned by God. Universalists believe that God is too good to damn people, and Unitarians believe that people are too good to be damned by God. In a sermon given by Transcendentalist Unitarian minister James Freeman Clarke in 1886, he said the following about Unitarians. He said, "We believe in the fatherhood of God, the brotherhood of man, the leadership of Jesus, salvation by character, and the progress of mankind." And he finished by saying, "Onward and upward forever." There was a sense within our ranks that humanity should because humanity could. This was certainly then challenged in the 20th century as new technologies were not only utilized for saving, but also for destruction. This was the dichotomy, the both and of onward and upward forever. This would begin in our early years as Universalists and Unitarians, as both would work for religious freedom and greater justice. Part of celebrating this anniversary is looking to our past to find both the heroic and the challenging parts of our history. Where might we find just a little piece of that historic and heroic past? Is it in the thousands of congregants who have been transformed by our theologies, whose
Hey, Neal.
lives have...
Someone's here.
Oh, hello. Welcome. We're just kind of in the middle of a worship service right now, so I know that Carl here has a friendly face and a seat for you to sit down in.
Oh, I will not sit down. I'm here to see you, Reverend Neal Anderson. I'm here to see all of you. I am Augusta Jane Chapin.
Augusta Jane Chapin, the great Universalist minister who grew up like around here in Mason and was the second woman ordained into the Universalist ministry in 1864 right here in Lansing by this very congregation. Are you saying that you are her?
Yes, I am her. And I have a message for you on your 175th anniversary. Continue my legacy.
Wow, this is fantastic. Maybe we have found a little piece of our historic past. Augusta Jane, this was your home church.
I prefer Dr. Chapin, if you please, Reverend Anderson.
Yes, of course, Dr. Chapin. Tell us what Michigan was like when you were young.
My parents were some of the first white people to come here. As a child, I fell asleep in our cabin in the woods listening to the wolves howl. Chief Okemos was a family friend. There was a tiny Universalist fellowship where I learned that God loves everyone. I was very happy. But as a teenage girl, I wanted the best education I could get. I enrolled in the newly built University of Michigan to study theology. I wanted to be a Universalist minister. They would not admit me because I am female. Instead, I went to Olivet College. To my horror, I encountered terrible religious bigotry. My professors taught that those who did not believe in Jesus would burn in hell. After months of study, I concluded that was false. I went into the ministry with the mission of teaching that all are one and loved by God. I sought out positions in small towns along the frontier, Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, to help struggling families like my own without prejudice of any kind. Everywhere I went, I helped build liberal churches.
I also know that you played an important role in the struggle for women's rights. Can you tell us about that?
I wrote and spoke about women's rights every day of my adult life. I was an active member of the suffragists and was close to Susan B. Anthony, who spoke at my church in Iowa and stayed in my home. I helped Katie Elizabeth Stanton write the Women's Bible, attacking patriarchy in religion. I organized and spoke often at meetings at the Association of Women's Suffrage. But no, that legacy belongs to Susan and the others. I won't claim that.
Were the Universalists united in their support for women's rights?
No. They were not united. Half the Universalists believed in something they called divine paternity. In fact, the conflict was so severe that the Universalist Association sent me to San Francisco to deal with a schism there among the churches. In the end, the patriarchs saw the light.
You had an amazing career.
From humble beginnings to traveling the world speaking of women's rights, human rights, in Europe, the Holy Land. In the end, I landed in Oak Park, Illinois, a plum assignment, and stayed there with my very good friend, Anna Lloyd Wright, and her young son, Frank.
Frank Lloyd Wright?
I gave him one of his first jobs, building us a new church.
Wow. From listening to the wolves howl to Frank Lloyd Wright. So what was your legacy? Was it working for racial justice?
Racial justice. Let me tell you a story. In 1893, as I was finishing my career, the World Columbian Exposition was held in Chicago. As part of that, I helped organize the World Parliament of Religions. It was the greatest achievement of my life. Religious leaders from around the world came embracing Universalist values. Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus, Jains. It was everything I had worked for since I was a young student. I gave the opening speech, welcoming them all.
Amazing. People of all races and religions worshiping together.
Except it wasn't. Inside, African American ministers struggled to be heard. Native Americans were not even admitted inside. Outside, there was the Battle of Wounded Knee, and over 100 black men had been lynched. We barely discussed those things.
Why not?
We were completely focused on women's suffrage, making the case for women's rights. I was afraid that we would not have the opportunity again to show what we were capable of. I still question my decision to this day.
So what is your legacy?
My legacy is struggle. You are facing perilous times, just as I did. I am proud of what I accomplished. I did more than I ever dreamed possible. But I also know I made mistakes, and it wasn't enough. Now, look at what you have done. You have sustained a vibrant liberal church for over nearly 2 centuries. From here, friends and members have launched themselves into the world to work and witness human dignity, human welfare, and social justice. This community, Michigan, the world, is so much better than it once was because of you and others like you. But you question yourselves. You know your work is not done. On your 175th anniversary, rededicate yourselves to your mission. Those words you speak every Sunday. Loving relationships, spiritual growth, and social justice. My legacy is struggle. Carry it on.
Oh, well, don't go. Don't go.
I live on in you.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Chapin, for the reminder of your legacy of struggle and the invitation that we carry it on, including Gwen. Before that unexpected visit, I was exploring the both and of human progress. What I had hoped to say was that religious institutions like UU Lansing, who collectively incarnate common values, are integral to balancing that both and. The hope for what technology and other learnings can do, and the damage that might be done without the values that we bring to the world. In the context of technology and war, this congregation has long advocated for peace and spoken out against weapons of mass destruction. As we heard from Dr. Chapin, we have a legacy of not only working for women's rights, racial justice, economic justice, but also for creating community where more and more people can find themselves, and a place that we can live lives of meaning and purpose in a community of accountability. Of course, we know that work is not done, and we are challenged to continue that legacy of struggle, inviting one more person and another to work to incarnate those values together. In the latest Atlantic magazine, we are warned about something the author calls the rise of techno-authoritarianism. You see, in this article, Mark Andreessen, who's a Silicon Valley venture capitalist, wrote that there is no material problem, including those caused by technology, that cannot be solved by more technology. He writes that technology should not merely be always advancing, but always accelerating in its advancement to ensure the techno-capital upward spiral continues forever. And he excoriates what he calls campaigns against technology under names such as ethics or existential risk. As the world continues to change, it continues to be our responsibility to incarnate our values and continue to call for justice in the frame of whatever technological or other evolutions are taking place. It is our responsibility to cast a vision of the world we dream of, the problems we wish to solve for the public good, and in accordance with the values and understandings of Unitarian Universalism that will advance human dignity, equality, freedom, health, and happiness. We must continue to insist that the leaders of the institutions that represent us, large and small, use technology in ways that reflect what is good for not only individuals, but for society. So, if we can, let us move away from simply saying onward and upward forever, or away from the idea of, well, we'll build it because we can. Let this religious institution, who for 175 years has brought our values, our evolving values to our world, continue to do so for the next 175 years. It is hard to even fathom all that this congregation has navigated in those 175 years. And we shall carry on, measuring our success not through the health of our budgets, the numbers of our members, but how many lives are made better by our living lives of meaning and purpose, and our sharing those collective values that we wish to have incarnated into our world. Can we accompany people to live lives of meaning and purpose, to live sacred lives? Can we provide a place for people to gain valuable tools for improving their loved ones and the life of the entire community? Are we prepared to answer this call of and to love? Answer this call of love. If so, we indeed will carry it on for the next 175 years. May it be so. Again, I like that. Oh, thank you. That's what I was going to do. The story of my life I forgot. When we began worship, Tom Nicholas mentioned the core team who have worked since the fall of 2022 to create this day today, which we will continue to celebrate in the atrium and the social hall. I wanted just to invite all of you who have participated in the creation of this day and other aspects of our 175th anniversary to be acknowledged. So if you have had anything to do with what has been going on, whether the core team or setting up the sanctuary, the timeline, the video, all of those things that went in this beautiful reenactment that happened, all of those things. You can either stand up, and if that doesn't work, just wave your hand so that we might acknowledge and give you much thanks and congratulations. So stand or wave, whatever you want to do. All those involved.
Our closing hymn today doesn't appear in any of the hymnals, although I'm hopeful that it will appear in the next one. The piece is only 10 years old. It was written by UU musician Cliff Harden and UU poet Jan Elliker. It is a recognition that we are not a thing unto ourselves. We are a point on a continuum. And yes, today we are celebrating our first 175 years. But we need to remember that there are others who are coming after us, and we should be supporting them and helping them and instructing them and passing this church on to them. Please join together in singing Pass on the Light.
And before I invite you to join together in the benediction, just remind you, if you need a little extra time to leave the sanctuary this morning, if you would go first, and those of us who don't need a little extra time will go after. And now let us together speak our benediction. As a religious community, Inspired by awe and wonder, we nurture spiritual growth, connect in authentic, loving relationships, and engage in courageous work for peace and justice. To the next 175 years, our worship is over. May our service begin.